What's good, fam? It's your boy Jorge. Welcome to the pod. I got the boss man, Adam, in the house.
That's right. We have matching hats. We called each other before we started the podcast.
If you guys ever been laying in bed and your partner turns to you and ever goes like, you know where I really, really want to go? You know, take a vacation? Bishop, California. If that's ever happened to you, this weekend is your weekend. This weekend, boss man, myself, and the FMX Rampage crew will be in Bishop, California, 3 hours from where we live, right?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yep, 3 hours.
Yeah. So
Under.
I hear it's like the new Coachella Valley, like the new Joshua tree that people want to go. So, yeah, if you want to go, this is the weekend to go.
Dude, if I would have known you were going to do that right now, I wouldn't have just spent $60 on ads on Facebook yesterday to try to drive traffic to the Bishop show.
Yeah.
Warn me next time you're going to do something as epic as that was.
Okay, I apologize. But yeah, so what's the show called?
What's the show called?
What's the event?
So it's called Chili Cars and Cook-Off, I believe, is it? I might have that wrong. I've been so focused on just my part of the show, I haven't thought about it. But yeah, they do like a chili festival. It's a car show. Maybe Cook-Offs or Cervezas. That's the other one.
Oh,
right?
chili, yeah.
Yeah, Chili Cars and Cervezas. And it's
Cervezas for you guys. That's beer.
But yeah, they do this event every year, and I met them at the trade show this year, and they were interested in bringing us out. So luckily, we were able to make it happen. They've got a pretty good little stadium down there in Bishop. I actually drove by it like 2 days ago.
Yeah, they do an arena cross out there.
Yeah. Have they done that recently?
I think they done it like maybe 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. But I stopped at a gas station there, and I saw myself on a poster on the door of the gas station. So
nice.
That's cool. I'm glad they're promoting it, and I know they've been pumping it really hard on social media, and I'm trying to do the same for them as well. So first time they're trying to do a deal like this, like, you know, freestyle motocross is a niche market, and it's kind of it goes well if you promote it correctly, right? So I'm really hoping that we can hit the nail on the head and have a good turnout, because for one, you know, I want it to be good for them, and for two, it's 3 hours from home. Like, I love these shows, you know, something pretty close.
Yeah, and I know they have been advertising a lot. It's you know, they have good marketing, so that could just tell you what kind of event they're putting on. But also, just the neighbor towns like Bridgeport is a big military town, so I would imagine, or I would hope, that all the military people come out to the show, because there's nothing else to do for them.
Yeah. Well, there's not a lot to do anywhere around there. I mean, there is in Mammoth, but I almost feel like right now is kind of a weird time too, where like in Mammoth, you probably don't have much to do. You know, you can't ride mountain bikes or go to the lake yet, but all the ski resorts are probably closed down.
Yeah.
And I don't know, is Mammoth like an action sports-ish community?
Yeah.
So there we go. Maybe we draw from some of the places around there. Yeah, I really hope it's going to be good. I'm excited. I've been like really working a lot on the show plan. I want to change some things up. I've definitely put a lot on me and Devin's shoulders this year, so hopefully we can handle it. But
that makes me nervous, because I know nothing.
Yeah, I dropped my laptop. Don't worry.
Okay,
You're going to get a quick shakedown.
Yeah, because usually we like sit down and kind of go over it.
I thought about calling you like 2 days ago, and I've been so busy with the FMX Legends launch and everything that I was like, oh, man, I'm just going to have to hold off and catch up with them. But yeah, I did bring it over, so we'll do a quick run through after this.
I will say, though, I did see something somewhere in the mix of this show. I believe, because it's like the chili cook-off thing, I believe this is like a semifinal or like a qualifier to like a major chili cook-off.
No way.
Yeah. So, and I know we have a chili cook-off here in Reno, so I don't know if that's what it's for, but it's like pretty legit. So the people, the vendors that will show up with their chili and everything, it's like they're trying to qualify for like a major event.
So we're going to get some legit chili.
Yeah.
Damn. A lot of beans and chili. Be careful with how much you eat before you ride a freestyle motocross show.
Especially you, yeah.
Yeah, public service announcement.
Mm-hmm. Don't wear a white gear.
Don't have any. We're good.
Yeah, but that should be good. So I hope if you guys are in the area and you do listen to this before Saturday, you guys can make it out. 3 hour drive, but it should be fun. Get some good chili and then cool event.
You're assuming that you don't have any listeners who are outside of our neighborhood, because you just said 3 hour drive. You could have listeners in Bishop.
Yeah.
Hey guys, this is in your hometown. Should we do one for every town nearby?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Bridgeport, it's only an hour and 7 minutes from you.
Yeah. Come say hello.
Mammoth, 45 minutes from you. No? Less, right?
Probably 30 minutes.
I'm talking to my ass now. Let's move on. This
30
is
minutes.
Important.
Damn, what was I about to say? Oh, so the show is Saturday, Sunday?
The show is just Saturday.
Oh, okay.
I believe it starts at 6:30. I'd actually have to double check that, but it's going to be right around that time, the 6:30 range. Don't quote me on that. Check the Tri-County Fairgrounds website.
Okay, so nice. So I'll drive out there Saturday morning early, come back Saturday night. Perfect.
I thought about doing the same thing, but
You're going to say?
I'm going to stay. The times that we did that I did that in Placerville, dude, I felt like I might die. Because like I got there, that was only less than a 2-hour drive, and I got there, just immediately got into it, and I don't know, I probably could sit down more during the days, but I'm just kind of restless and like really overthink everything, so I just pace the whole day, and then we get done with the show, which is pretty gnarly on me with like all the talking and stuff and the riding, and then we tear down for 2.5 hours, and I drove home from Placerville, and I was like, bro, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I was so exhausted, and like, it was painful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used a lot of Copenhagen on that 1.5-hour drive.
Okay, well.
I do not recommend, but I did.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, yeah, Saturday around evening time, make sure you get out there.
Yeah.
Should be fun.
Absolutely.
I know you mentioned FMX Legends. Before we get into that, you just took a little vacation, huh?
Yeah. Me and the family went down to Oceanside. It was super nice. To be honest with you, dude, I'm not that good at vacationing, but I aspire to get better at it.
Where exactly is Oceanside?
So it's probably like 45 minutes like north of San Diego, I guess, along the coast. Yeah.
Okay.
So we stayed like we got an Airbnb. So actually first time we ever got an Airbnb, and it was at like a complex of condos, and they had really nice pool and like barbecue area and gym. They had like really nice facilities. It was like a resort basically.
Yeah.
And it was right on the beach. Like the front of the place was the beach.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it was really cool. And then we checked out San Diego one day. We checked out La Jolla another day, which was beautiful. We waited till the fucking last day to surf because like I don't know how to surf, and I'm terrified of sharks.
That would beat your ass.
It does.
Yeah.
But every time I do it, it's so much fun, dude.
Yeah.
Like I try to avoid it because I'm scared of the process.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I don't know how to rent surfboards or like what I need, and then like where do I take them, and like everything about it. So I'll kind of like drag my feet and not do it, and then when we do it, I'm like, why didn't we start doing this earlier? It's so much fun. But we were actually surfing in La Jolla, and me and Kim had just rode a wave on our gigantic surfboards because I've never tried the little ones, right?
Yeah.
So you get the real big ones that are easy to ride.
Uh-huh.
We had just caught a wave, and then the boys were just like jumping in the waves just a little deeper. And Kim starts looking around, and she goes, I just saw Finn. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I'm
your
like,
fear.
out of the water. So we get to like knee level and turn around. Dude, and I saw it too. But I'm pretty positive it was a dolphin because it was like much more rounded,
Yeah.
But it was enough to be like, that's enough surfing for today.
Yeah.
But what I was getting at is like, I'm not very good at vacations because like I don't know where to go and I don't know what to do, and I think I overthink it. Like, what if I book a place and it's not a nice area and we get stuck in some, we deal with the bullshit the whole time, and I just feel like you got to just do it and learn, and like you'll get better every year. You'll find some little places that you like and that you want to go back to. Like just from doing that, Oceanside was great. It was really fun. But when we went to La Jolla, we were like, oh, dude, we're staying here next year.
Okay.
So.
And that's a little further south?
Little bit. Yeah. It was like 40 minutes.
Okay. So I thought you were actually like in Mexico area. That's why I was asking. So you could give us some tips too, But yeah, you were just in California.
Yep, California.
Okay. But yeah, it was so cool though.
Didn't cross the border. Yeah, it was cool. Had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the hardest thing is like for the kids. Like, so you kind of have older kids now.
Yeah.
So you want to do things the older kids will want to do. My kids are kind of small still. But it's kind of like, what do they want? Like, people are like Disneyland. I'm like, my kids wouldn't really appreciate Disneyland. Yeah. They're not really into that, right? Yeah. So it's like stuff like that. Like you got to figure out what they want to do. So that's where you kind of go, right?
Yeah. It's I get it. That's the hard part, but man, I'm jealous of you right now because yours are still young enough that you just pick the right thing and they're like, they're lovely. You know what I mean? And like the boys, it's fucking geez, teenagers, man.
Yeah.
And we got good teenagers, but like they, they're just cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool. Like I don't have fun. Fun's not cool.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, man. And Raven's 10 and like she loves everything and she has such fun all the time. And I'm like, man, I wish I missed the time when you guys were all like this, you know? So it's hard. We go to the zoo and it's fun and it's, I liked it. Raven loved it. Kim loved it. The boys liked it, but they're just like,
yeah,
they're just cool.
And it's like, well, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
And then you don't get the best. It's like nothing.
Yeah. The boys came alive when we surfed. So we probably should have surfed more. But it's weird. Like me and Blair are exactly the same. Where we're like, I don't know if I'm going to surf, dude. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm like, Blair, you're doing it. Like, I don't care. You're surfing.
Yeah.
And they had so much fun. And so did I. But it was a good trip. Yeah, it's hard with teens, man, because they're just different,
Yeah.
So, yeah, time machine. Wish I had a time machine, but enjoy them while they're young. It's definitely different. It was still fun. You know what was tough for me too was like the Legends launch was 2 days afterwards. We scheduled this vacation months ago,
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then the Legends thing came up and me and Levi were just like, Levi was at the point where he's like, you want to launch this thing tomorrow? And I'm like, no. Like I want to make sure like we have more stuff prepared before we launch. And we're like, let's launch April 30th. And I'm like, perfect. Let's do it. End of the month. Yeah, I probably should have launched at the end of the week or whatever, but so I didn't even look at the calendar, but like April 30th was 3 days after we got home from vacation. And I had so much I wanted to do. And I stayed off it for the most part. Like sometimes I'd wake up early and like edit a tutorial for the website. Or like, try to contact Levi in times when we weren't really doing anything. So it was all right. But yeah, it definitely kind of like a little bit like took me out of being there.
Yeah. Like, you have something to do in the back of your head.
Yeah.
So you're kind of thinking about it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does suck.
But what was good, though, is like with us staying in an Airbnb and this being this like fully enclosed, secure condo place it was definitely a way different vacation experience. Like we didn't have to leave the room every 2 hours to eat or to do whatever. And it's not like the kids couldn't just go to the pool on their own. Like sometimes the kids, they just wanted to go to the pool on their own. They don't even want us to come. Like especially in the evenings, they're like, "Can we go to the pool?"
Scoping for chicks.
It's probably, dude. Huz, that's what Link calls them. You know what Huz
is that what he calls them? How old is Link?
He's turning 13 in July.
And Blair's 16?
Blair's turning 16 in June.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah. They like girls.
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
I like them too.
Yeah.
I like one. But what I was getting at with that as well, sorry, I keep losing track, is it was different than being in a hotel because I feel like in a hotel, there's a lot less time where you're content to just like hang. Because a hotel is like as big as this desk and nobody really has anything to do. Where in this place, we had a living room, we had a kitchen, they had their room, they could go to the pool. So we did a lot more like relaxing, which was really nice.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I would take advantage of like a little bit of that downtime or when they're preoccupied or everybody's chilling. And I'd be like, I'm going to catch up on this thing and try to get it done. Like I said, I didn't overdo it, but I would definitely rather not even know work exists while I'm on vacation. I think that's better. Yeah.
I actually was just talking to a guy about this, just like being like photography and video stuff, like the packing. There was a time, and I've gotten a little bit, I've gotten like way better at it, but there was a time where anytime I would travel that wasn't work related, just like a little vacation, just like weekend or whatever, dude, I pack everything.
Do you everything like what?
Like
your
camera
home,
gear.
Oh, camera stuff.
Yeah.
So you weren't working, but you'd bring your work stuff.
Yeah. And then I'm like, why am I doing that? You know, after a while. And there was a point I remember in, because I was doing like a lot of trade shows and stuff, and that was like for work, but like I'd always take my stuff. And it was just for me, right? And I'd be walking around the streets like Kansas City, midnight, taking photos and shit. And that was 2019. And, 2020 everything happened with COVID and everything, and people started getting jacked for like their camera gear, like photographers
No
doing
way,
that same
really?
stuff. Yeah, people just going crazy on the streets, you know. So I was like, I'm lucky that never happened to me, you know, and so that was kind of like a eye opener. And then I'm like, dude, when I go places, I just don't need to take anything.
I agree.
You know,
Don't you think that's a lesson you have to learn with
Yeah.
time though? Because like if you're young and you don't have that desire and motivation to take your camera, your motorcycle, or whatever your thing is with you everywhere and do it at every second that you can, you're probably not going to make it.
Yeah.
So you can look back on it and go, fuck, why'd I do that? But it also got you to the point where it's like, look where you're at now.
Yeah.
And
no, that's a good point of view. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a good, I never thought of it like that. But yeah, there a lot of times I'm like, because I was just talking to this guy and he's like, he's going to Thailand. And he's talking to me about camera gear and stuff. He's like, oh, well, last time I went, I took like everything. Like I took lights and I'm like, dude, I just take my phone now.
Yeah.
I'm like,
these are pretty good, huh?
Yeah. I'm like, you don't need to do that. And he's like, yeah, I might just take like my camera and like 2 lenses. I'm like, yeah, you probably only use one, but yeah, take 2 lenses and that's it. But I'm like, it's a hard thing when you kind of have that ingrained in you and you're like, man, I just want to go out and shoot photos. Like, but for what?
Yeah.
For fun. But I could do the same thing with my phone.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where it's like you're like so ingrained in you to take your work with you.
Yeah. I think sometimes it feels like a curse, right? To be motivated and like kind of work driven. It's always been hard for me to separate, you know? But at the same time, don't they call that like type A personality, which is generally more successful and more everything? It's the give and take, right? Like, okay, I'm going to be more successful because I'm type A personality, but I'm also going to have a hard time like disconnecting. I'll learn it if I'm dedicated enough, but it's hard. Or I could be really fucking good at chilling and maybe I could still be living with mom and dad at 41 right now.
Yeah.
And that's an exaggeration, of course, but I do think about that sometimes where it's like, it's great. The personality things that make you work hard, but it's going to be, you can't have one without like a little bit of the curse part of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it comes from your parents. Like I said, a lot of my stuff comes from my parents. Like I couldn't just chill growing up. I would always have to do something or I get in trouble.
Yeah.
So like I'm living in my own house, just laying there. And then I'm like, man, I have this uneasy feeling. And what's that feeling? Oh, that I need to be doing something because that's how I grew up. And it's like, no, I don't have to be doing anything. I'm a grown man. I could sit here and just chill if I want. But I just have that.
I've got the exact same.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's good.
It is. I think it's good if you're working on it, right? If you're learning from it and if you're like seeing, because you could be a busybody. Like my dad was a busybody all the time. And, you know, we'd sit down with dinner. I don't really remember too many times when we sat at the dinner table that he wasn't there. But like, afterwards he'd get up and go work again. And it was just like constantly, you know, and he I don't think has any like self, like he doesn't like think about things like that. Like he has no intention, I think, on like changing things for the better. So he just did that forever. And like, that's going to be his thing forever. And
you know what's wild? I'm kind of the same exact what you just said there. I'm there for dinner and everything. But after dinner, I'm always away. Dude, since I moved here, that's stopped.
Really?
Because it's like the separation between home and this building. Now it's like I actually got to leave my home, even though it's like 2 seconds away.
Yeah.
But like now it's like I'll do the dinner and then we'll sit there and chat. Boys go to bed and then me and the wife just hang out. And then I don't have that feeling where I'm like my office is right there.
Yeah.
So I don't just walk to my office and everything. So now it's a little further. So it kind of like, I don't know, it deters me.
Out of sight, out of mind a little bit. Yeah. Because your other one was literally like
right there.
You'd see it right there all the time.
Yeah. And it's easy just to go back there, be on the computer the whole time, doing whatever. And my family's still over there. They're in the living room and I could see them and talk to them or whatever. But I'm out, right?
Yep.
And then here, I have to actually come out here physically and I'm out here by myself. So it's like kind of different. So since I've moved here, that stopped. That's weird.
really good. Yeah, my dad was the same. Like his work was in our garage, like literally attached to our house.
Yeah.
That's why I'm semi-retarded, is because, like I told you earlier, I basically grew up in a paint booth. My dad was fucking painting cars in our garage my whole entire life. It always smelled like paint fumes in there, so I'm an idiot. But same deal, yeah. And I feel it at my house, like just the garage is pulling to me, like, hey man, you should do this, or so I guess I got to invest in a shop.
Yeah. How, so, I've seen that you have been taking more vacations and stuff like that. How do you go about like just like picking the time to do it? You just kind of pick a date in the year and you're like, hey, let's do this.
It's really always last minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't book any vacations in January or February, maybe even March, because like that's kind of when stuff starts coming in, and even though right now my entire July is completely empty, I don't have a single show in July right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing anything. Like I'm not booking anything.
Okay.
As far as a vacation, because
Stuff comes up
and it's summertime. So it's kind of when there's more stuff. But yeah, the point is it's always last minute. My family, my sister wants to plan things sometimes, and she'll hit me up like a year in advance. And I'm like, how many fucking times I gotta tell you, like, I can't plan like that. I know that you can, but like, I can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So it's just always last minute. Like, I think we probably booked the Oceanside trip in March, which was we ended up doing it in April.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, maybe early March. We did it mid-April. So yeah, about a month and a half early. And to that point, with that one, I was just like, I've got a couple shows around, like things are good. I'm not going to be hurting for money too bad. That week's off. The kids have school off. We can make it work. Let's do it. It's real last minute. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just like if things fall together right.
Okay. So you're not the guy to, give me the deals like, oh, I booked 5 months in advance, so I got good deals on this.
No.
Okay.
No
That's
way.
kind of how I am too, so I'm not really good at that.
Yeah.
But some people are really good at finding all the deals and stuff. And
yeah, I guess if I was a little more proactive, I could probably do it a little better. Like I could probably book something right now for like New Year's, after New Year's, like the beginning of the new year, I could book something because I know that we have Nitro in Australia in October and then the US in November, December. And after all that, like I don't want any work for a month or two, you know? So there are times when I probably could plan ahead, but
dude, I'm gonna need the hookup for one of the Nitro shows.
Sure, you got it.
How many can you hook me up with?
Whatever you need,
1,000 tickets?
Yeah, no.
And I'll scalp them?
Yeah, we'll scalp them.
No, I saw that your tour. It sucks that like it doesn't. California's close.
Yeah.
But to sit, not to talk shit, but it's like to sit here and travel to go to.
Oh yeah.
It's a little bit,
Not many people do that.
Sacramento. I would drive to Sacramento.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
see your show and stuff like that, but. California is a little bit different. So, but I have family in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And I think you guys are playing or riding in exactly their city.
Yeah.
It's like Rio something.
Yep.
So I was like, dang, I should go and visit them, hook them up with tickets.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be cool.
I say that now, and then they're going to.
But see, that's another one. That's like in November. So a lot can happen then.
Yep. Yeah. It'd be nice if they're coming to town, but we're doing indoors, big stadiums again. We don't have one of those in Reno.
We will.
Yeah, the GSR one.
Yeah.
That'd be sick. That'd be cool if eventually we get in there.
That'd be a huge one, yeah. Let's get into FMX Legends.
All right.
So explain what this new thing that you created, FMX Legends.
Yeah, so it's me and Levi Sherwood. We basically developed an FMX community in school. It's kind of weird the way it all happened. I found a note in my phone because I store like everything I think about that I think is important in my notes in my phone.
Yeah.
And I go through them daily basically and clean up shit that I do or that's not important anymore. I found a note in my phone from February that said...
Of this year?
This year.
Okay.
That said, this is the year that you need to start finding other ways to make money. It doesn't say quit. It just says like, I have to start figuring something out. And I had written a couple like really silly ideas in there. OnlyFans, foot model, stuff like that. No, I didn't write those. But I wrote a couple things in there, and I just thought it was funny, like looking back on it now, because I feel so good about this thing. I feel like this thing is the thing that like I didn't even know that I wanted, but I did, and that I feel like is a thing that I could love and enjoy doing for the rest of my working life. So basically, what I was about to say is that like, so I start thinking about stuff back in February. And I got basically nowhere. And then eventually I got to the point where I was like, dude, what if I just like put some, like what I did on YouTube a couple years ago where I did like 3 tutorials. I was like, what if I just put like a couple of those on Patreon or somewhere on the internet and literally did like a $2 subscription and just like see what would happen. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. And then I started thinking about it more and more, and then the ideas started coming, and I'm like, dude, I could do more than that. Like, I could actually do a website. I think I have a lot to offer people in the, like, how to make this work. Whatever. Fuck, I just sounded like a retard right there. Anyways.
The paint fumes.
The paint fumes. That was the paint fumes. That's what happens. So I felt like I had a lot to offer if somebody was like chasing their dreams on 2 wheels. And I started working on this thing. I had a local buddy that put some ideas in my head, and I talked to him, and he connected me with the website guy, and I gave him all my ideas. So we started building a website. He's like, this is what it's going to cost you. I'll build it. It'll take me this long. Cool. I'm like, perfect. Let's go. So immediately I start working on tutorials because I knew that was going to be like, that's going to be like the base level of the school. It's just like, get in there. I wanted to have tutorials for literally every trick in the world. And I want to have, explanations, videos, ways for people to learn those by watching. And that's the ground level, right? Like on top of that, there's other stuff, but I knew that was the first thing that had to get built. So the guy's building the site. We're getting into it. I'm building tutorials. And then I go on Instagram one day, and I open up stories, and Levi posts a thing that was like, beta now live, join the Shogun FMX Legends community. And I'm like, whoa. And I messaged him, and I said, bro, I promise you I did not know you were doing this, but I'm doing the exact same thing. And he was like, interesting. And he's like, let's talk. And I'm like, all right. And, at first there's like a little bit of that feeling of like, damn, like I thought I had, like an idea that nobody else had right now. So there's like the two sides of it where you're like, well, you're fucked now. You might as well just quit. And then there's like another side that's like, why is this happening? Like, what does this mean? And then I talked to Levi because he messaged before we actually talked, but he's like, maybe we could work together some way on this. And I'm thinking like, yeah, I'd love that, because when it came to riding, like I always really respected Levi.
Oh yeah,
dude, the biggest extensions in freestyle motocross. Like I watched him come up since he was a Grom on Krusty in 2005. He used to ride 80s on Krusty Tour back in the day, and he was sick back then. And he came all the way up through the ranks and to compete with us, and then to fucking beat us all. And he did it with style, and he did it with grace, and he was humble, and he was a good dude. So like always had respect for him. So he said that, and I'm thinking like, yeah. I mean, like Levi would be somebody that I would definitely want to work with. So I just didn't really know how it worked, because I'm thinking like, how does it, if I have my thing and you have your thing, like, I don't know. And I guess I thought about going like completely together, but then there's that famine mentality initially that goes like, well, will there be enough if you do that? Like just that little flash of that. And I try to like not pay attention to those voices because I know that they're the bad ones. And so me and Levi call. And actually, one more thing, before me and Levi called, we've talked about this a bunch, where I'm just interested in like what the fuck the universe is doing and what it is. And I don't have a clue. But when I was thinking about this, right, and there was like that little bit of the famine mentality and a little bit of the worry, and then also a little bit of like the excitement because Levi's the man, I thought to myself, I was like, okay, either the universe, if it is a real and powerful and insightful thing, this is assuming the universe is something other than just a space we live in, is the universe, it's either just fucking with me and it's trying to kick me down and beat me up, or there's a reason for this. And I was like, and I don't think that the universe is like the first option.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the way it works. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's inherently evil or inherently wants us to fail. I think it's the opposite of that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's when you have like a good heart, good mind, and you're putting out good positive energy, that's what you're trying to do. You're
Yeah.
trying to put something positive out there, not just screw people.
Yeah.
So it's like there should be no reason that universe is trying to screw you as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I talked to Levi, and he was just kind of like, we got on the phone. I haven't talked to Levi on the phone for a long time. And he's just kind of like, what do you think about like just merging our two together? And I'm like, thought for like a second and was just like, yeah. Like it just kind of came out, you know? I'm like, let's do it. So we just started working on it right away. You know, we had a couple phone calls and emails back and forth and really kind of laid out the total idea and how we can like build things that are going to help people, what we can offer people and how we can structure it all. And yeah, it was immediately really exciting. And things I didn't even know at first that were going to be so helpful, I just felt good about. Like, I didn't know that Levi loves the tech shit and that I am terrible at it.
Yeah.
But for some reason, like as soon as we like partnered, like my load felt lightened. Not that my load felt lightened. I felt like just confident and like secure, and there was no worry, and like it was just like I felt like everything was meant to happen this way. So we get into it more and more, right? And then I find out that like he loves the tech stuff. He loves the website stuff. He loves like doing all that computer stuff. And I'm like, dude, thank goodness, because I suck at it, dude.
Yeah.
But like I had already been mashing out like a bunch of tutorials, and I already had a bunch more stuff banked, and was like had a plan of action for like being able to build a lot of those, which worked out pretty good too, because he's like, what he's saying is like he's out of it for the most part. You know, he rides for fun now. So like the Levi Sherwood that like as a rider, I'm sure not the exact same guy as when he won X Games the last time, but like I've had to keep doing what I'm doing, so I'm ready to go. You know, and I can make all these tutorials, film them, talk about them. Everything's really fresh because I've been doing it. So it just kind of really worked out. And then there's like the bike tech stuff. Like, dude, he loves that.
Oh yeah.
He loves the bike
that.
tech and the ramp tech. And once we got into that, I was like, well, that's really good, because like I don't really think I would have had a lot of value to offer people with that. Whereas
you're getting two experts.
Yeah, for sure. So it was really cool, man. It was really coincidental, and it was really like just had that like meant to be feeling to it, and it's felt really good. Like I haven't felt this good about anything I'm doing in a really long time.
So to simplify it for the listeners, so FMX Legends, you and Levi, which anyone would say you guys are two legends of the sport. So you guys are building this community website where it's a paid subscription to join, right? And you guys are going to be teaching a bunch of different things, from bike mechanics to how to do the tricks to how to get your first show and all that, right? So that's kind of the basic.
Yep. Yeah, it's a subscription-based model. There's 3 different tiers. Basically, the first one is like all community. And we think that this community is going to be the biggest part of the whole thing. And what we envision for it is like, you know, take everybody in the world that is into freestyle motocross and put them in one place where they can easily talk to each other. They're not hidden by algorithms and things like that. Like, I have a freestyle motocross following, and I've needed a set of flip levers. And I'm like, does anybody have any flip levers they're selling on Instagram? And since it's not, you know, titties or something, like Instagram just hides it because a lot of people don't see it right away. We start this community, and like first thing is like somebody selling a pair of used flip levers. And they go like that. So we have a marketplace on there where people can like buy and sell their freestyle related items. We have event stuff where like what I really hope to have eventually is promoters in there like myself. Like maybe Keith Sayers, like whoever is out there looking for riders. I would love to have promoters in there and being like, hey, I'm in Texas. In 3 weeks, I need one upright guy. Is anybody available? And then, you know, not only is like this a place where people can sort out people to ride with and where the nearest local ramp spot is, but maybe we can also start helping people have careers by offering shows. Like, dude, there is there is such a lack of good upright guys right now. Mm-hmm. And for guys like me and like Keith Sayers and guys that run like a regional program, you need upright riders for your shows. Yeah. It's just the way budgets work. Like a budget for a Nitro Circus show starts like the lowest paying show. Like it starts at $100,000. And I made that number up, but it's somewhere like that, right?
Yeah.
Like the regional shows they're around $20,000 that you got to squeeze everything into. Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to put 5 flip riders in there, good luck making anything for yourself because insurance, announcers, 5 flip riders, like you're not making any money. Right. So what you kind of need to do is like stagger the deck a little bit and have a couple good flip riders and a couple reliable good upright riders. Mm-hmm. There are not those right now at all. And it doesn't take that long to get good at it. So
real quick though, there's a thin line, I think, right now with like flippers and upright riders, right? Because I think there's a lot of dudes that do like upright tricks and everything, but they just have like one flip. And then they're categorized as flip riders, right?
Yeah, that's a strange thing. In my opinion, those are guys that really aren't doing the work at all. They don't really care. And I know some of those guys. I know who they are. And like I myself would never hire them. Like you obviously don't have the passion. Those kids go out and they learn. Here's the kids I'm thinking about. The kids that go out and they learn a C-grab, a no-foot a can, and then they start flipping and they want flip pay. I would fucking never pay flip pay for that. Like why? You don't have anything to offer the show.
Right.
And then, there are the guys that will have a full bag of uprights and then they flip and they get stuck there. And that's unfortunate because, like, you're not really worth full flip pay. Like, my opinion on that is maybe there should be a medium ground to where, like, okay, you can do a flip. You can join the trains, which is going to be helpful. Like, maybe I'll be able to give you $2,000 for a show. But, like, you're basically an upright rider.
Yeah.
So that's tricky, and like I think we need to more clearly define like the different tiers of riders and what their costs are, which is also another thing I want to do within this site. And I want it to be out in the open. Nobody wants to fucking talk about what people get paid in freestyle motocross. Yeah. And I understand that's the case if you're Axel Hodges and you're making 10 or 15 grand a show and you don't want anybody to try to get as much as you, right? Or try to start knocking you down. But like, for the most part, the other people are getting paid the same. Everybody's getting the same per regional show and all that sort of stuff. So like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about worths. I don't want people getting ripped off and taken advantage of. Like, I don't want a kid that's been putting in the work and he's a solid upright guy who's dependable, consistent, not sketchy. I don't want him to have a promoter go, hey, dude, I'll give you $750. You got to pay for your own travel and hotel room. Like, I want to be like, no, you tell that guy to fuck off. And like, just miss out on the money this weekend because as much as that sucks, like this is going to make it better for everybody. If it gets to the point where promoters can't rip off young, hungry, semi-desperate riders, well, it'll get a little better. So it sucks. You do have to ask people to, take a hit, I guess. But
you're also putting a target on your back because you're the ones telling those guys not to ride for promoters. So the promoters are going to be like, man, fuck that guy.
Yeah, well, you know what I've been saying for years is fuck those promoters. Because I know who those are too. And I would never try to push anybody to ride for certain promoters that I know are scumbags and are out to rip guys off and are out to not benefit the sport. They're out to benefit themselves. Like they don't give a fuck what the show looks like. They don't give a fuck what they're making freestyle motocross look like by really caring only about how little they can pay a rider.
Yeah.
And they do that and they get these guys who like, I'm sorry, but they're not good, dude. And I watch these guys and I feel kind of bad saying this, but it's like some of these guys I watch and it's like, okay, you're either you don't have the talent, which is unfortunate because maybe you want it and you're just one of those guys who might never get there. So it's either that, and I feel bad for you, or you're literally not putting in any work at all. And if that's the case, I don't feel bad for you at all. But they're getting these guys that, in my opinion, it makes it look bad. Like freestyle is better than that. There's a lot of guys out there who are better than that. There's guys out there who are better than that who aren't even riding shows. They're riding in their backyard. You know what I mean? But we have these promoters that all they care about is like, what's the lowest amount of money I can get a rider for? That way I can put more money in my own pocket.
Yeah.
And that sucks for the sport. That sucks for the guys. That sucks for everybody. drives prices down, makes it harder for everybody to make a living. That promoter is going to stay in existence because he's able to get these guys. So like, fuck that promoter.
Mm-hmm.
So put the target on. I'm ready for it.
Yeah. So speaking of the promoters, you said, you know, you want to bring in the promoters to be in the community that way. And that's amazing. Like going somewhere and it's a one-shot place, basically. You could go somewhere and be like, announce it like, hey, Texas this week or in 2 weeks, I need a non-flipper, you know, like who's out there and stuff like that. So the promoters will have to buy into the tiers?
No. I mean, yeah, they could, but I mean, I think it's a benefit to the community to where like, so if Keith Sayers wanted to be on FMX Legends so he could try to get some upright riders for some of his shows, he would pay $9.99 a month to be on Legends. And like, to me, like, I don't need to make that $9.99 a month if it's going to benefit the community. Mm-hmm. So like, you know, I mean, I sound like a real cocksucker right now because I'm talking about $120 a year and trying to sound like I'm so enlightened, but like, just put them on. Like, do any promoters want to be on there for free? And like, maybe it's more than freestyle riders. Maybe we get some announcers who love freestyle motocross. Like Devin, our announcer, I actually didn't even know when I hired him how much he knew about and loved freestyle motocross. Yeah. So imagine before Devin gets connected to us, like he's in there. Yeah. And he's in the general chat being like, hey guys, I'm an announcer. I've got a history in freestyle motocross. I love it. Like, I'd love to send you an audition tape to anybody looking for an announcer. Like, I want this to help serve all of freestyle motocross and like make it good. There is such slim pickings for everything out there. It's unbelievable. And it's not only upright riders or, you know, flip riders. It's also announcers, and it's also like, it's fucking judges. Have you ever noticed that this couple events that we have been recycling the same 6 judges for the entire course of freestyle motocross? Yeah. Why is that? Why do we not have a pool of judges to where we pick a couple different ones out of the pool at every event?
They're the favorite. Like, I think, you know, this industry is just a bunch of people that are just like the favorites. Yeah. So we don't give also chances to no one else.
There's no way to know anybody else unless they're already in that world. So like, that's a thing that I really hope happens is like, it opens up, it gives people a place to find people for this sport. Right. So yeah, the community, in my opinion, is going to be like one of the biggest parts, and I hope that it helps to. I hope it helps people to get shows, to learn how to make shows, to like everything within freestyle motocross. People that are like, man, I live in Albuquerque, and like there's no ramps here. Does anybody know where the nearest one is? And like, oh, here's somebody one town over that's like, dude, I got a ramp. Come ride with me. You know, facilitate riding together, facilitate ride days between people. Eventually, I want to do in-person classes too. Yeah. And like, I really like the community aspect of this. And it's crazy because we launched the site and it's like all day yesterday, like I fucking hate social media. Like I go on it because I don't know why, accidentally, right? I think maybe we all do. But like yesterday we launched the site and we launched the community, dude. And I was just like in there all day, like talking to kids who had like real basic questions. Like, dude, what tire pressure, man? I've been running. And I'm like, bro, 15th of 1. If you're trying to whip any higher than that, it sucks. Like I've been having fun engaging with this community and helping in just little ways.
No, that's cool. And I think so tier 1 is the community.
Tier 1's the community and also some basic tutorials. Oh, okay. So we go through like jump technique and how to avoid some like, you know, pitfalls of bad form that you could get into. We don't go into any like full riding technique, but just kind of like a little bit of jump technique for ramps. And then we go through some beginner tricks that like you wouldn't even need a ramp for. You could just go do them on
tabletop.
It's basically all the stuff that I learned like on the local double at the track when I was a kid.
Okay, so you're still getting some riding stuff from tier 1, the community. You're moving into tier 2, then you're looking more into the tricks.
Yep. So tier 2 was going to have access to all the tricks within the community. Tier 2, which is called the Apprentice, also has its own chat. And the point of that is going to be that that's a place that the coaches are guaranteed to be. So if you're like, man, I tried to do a Saran wrap today and like I couldn't get my foot around, do you guys have any tips? Well, then the coaches show up there and they give you a direct answer. Yeah. Once this site launches and we get it to the point where there's, you know, a lot of people on there, the community, the coaches will be on there, but like you're not guaranteed to get an answer from us in the community.
Yeah.
You kind of like the community is going to help the community.
Yeah.
But in Apprentice,
But there could be.
bro, I was in the middle of something. I don't even remember anymore.
I don't even know how to.
I'm kidding.
But there could be another coach or another ex-writer or a current writer in there. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why, like, right now, me and Levi, we've been in the general chat a bunch. Like, we want to help foster this thing, get it off the ground, get people talking. And we know, like, right now, there's not enough people in there to get all the advice that you need. But I'm actually really confident that eventually there will be, and that it's far better than social media. Like, social media is supposed to be this community, but like I said, we're fucked by algorithms and by like all this other bullshit in there to where you're not really connected to anybody.
Yeah.
And in this thing where like everybody wants to be and everybody has paid to be, there's already a different vibe. Like there's this vibe of positivity and encouragement, and we're all kind of together. And so it's really cool, I think. But going back to what we were saying, yeah, in tier 2, you're guaranteed to get coach advice in the chat that we do there. We're also going to offer, we're going to do like webinars kind of, where we'll just do like me and Levi will do Zoom calls. People can watch them live, and we'll do Q&As at the end of them, whether it's like based on the topic we're talking about, or maybe some days we'll just do like straight up Q&A webinars. But I want to focus on like a different aspect of freestyle motocross, like life on two wheels career, basically, with that I don't know if I said weekly, but I meant to say monthly. Every month we're going to do that. So you'll get a little more from that one. And then the Legends is like the ultimate, like one-on-one. We'll have Zoom calls together. You can submit video footage through email so we can review your videos and try to help you with what's going on. It's like, it's as close to you can get to one-on-one coaching without living in the same spot.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I think the biggest, obviously, like someone pursuing that career, that would be the best one to do. But I do like and we just already talked about it, but the aspect of you like coming out and basically explaining like what your worth is and what you can get and how do you get your first show and stuff like that. And I think that alone, if you're trying to do this as a profession, like, as a business owner, how many business owners are out there and they're like, what do you charge? Like everyone's always like, well, what do you charge? How do you do this? Like photography, what would you charge? And it's like when someone's actually putting that base out there for you, it makes it so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah, at least you have a little bit of a roadmap. You're like, well, this is the base upright pay. Like, I feel like I'm a little worse than that, so I could ride for a little less.
Yeah.
But at least you're not going in blind.
Yeah.
Another thing we have for the whole site too that I forgot to mention is we've put together resources for everything, because I think another thing that's like a big hurdle for people to overcome is they don't even know where the fuck to start. What do I do with my suspension? What is a GPR? I hear people talk about GPRs. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Like, how do you get a subframe? Oh, I don't know how to do a seat. Like, how do you even cut the foam down? So for one, tutorials on all that stuff, on what it is and how to do it and what the settings are. And for two, we haven't got it for everything yet, but we're getting pretty close to having the connections to the resources and discounts for those connections to everybody that's within our members. So like GPR, you can go get a discount on GPR if you're a member. Also, there's a guy out of Idaho, Shad Simmons, that does fucking the best subframes for freestyle motocross right now. Like, best ones I've seen anybody do in a long time, and for good prices too. So like we worked out a deal with him where he's going to cut people a deal for that. All of it, right?
How'd you get connected with that guy?
Shad?
Yeah.
Just my buddies that live out that way. So I don't know who it was that first did it, but like Willie Elam told me about this guy. He did subframes for everybody in freestyle motocross this year.
Yeah. But you guys had to like figure that out.
Yeah, I think Willie lives by him or somebody lives by him. I'm not sure exactly who it is, but one of the guys lives by him, and he started working on subframes, and then word just got out, and now he does it for everybody. Yeah. But we've also got DD airbags. We're doing a discount code for people to get DD airbags, and we're going to make it super simple. It's like, you want a freestyle bag? Okay, here it is. You don't have to figure anything out. This is the bag you want, and here's a discount on it. We're actually going to give two options, which one is wider and one is skinnier, because some people are probably going to want a wider one. But DD's a good price bag, like if you're getting into
full size bag.
Okay.
If
you're getting into freestyle motocross and you're like, I need a bag. And say the first person you go to get a quote from is Bag Jump. They're going to be like, yeah, we got bags, $40,000. That person is going to be like, well, I quit freestyle motocross.
Yeah.
You know, like, no, thank you.
I just spent 10, 12 on my bike.
Yeah. But then if somebody tells you, if you have a place to get the resources that say like, look, if you're doing this in the level that you're doing it, here's a good bag for a good price. And you call DD, you get a bag for, I actually don't know the exact price, but you get a great bag for $10,000.
Oh, wow.
And then with that bag, you actually have the opportunity to start monetizing your freestyle motocross by owning a bag that you can travel with.
Mm-hmm.
So like, all right, I know it's still out of pocket, but bro, you're on the road.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a smart thing. Back in the day, you wouldn't recommend this, but now most of the shows are airbags.
Yeah.
So like if you buy an airbag and you're practicing an airbag in your backyard, obviously that's what you're going to go to a show. Back in the day, you know, you would do it to dirt.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. But now I think it is smart to get an airbag.
It is, dude. I mean, you can spend $3,000 a year on upkeep on your landing, or you can buy a $10,000 bag, which isn't going to last a lifetime. But if you take care of it, maybe you get 5 years out of that or something like that.
Well, weren't you talking to Dustin Miller to come ride on your show? And he's like, dude, I've never jumped on an airbag before.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to get Miller out, dude.
And it's like, it's one of those things. So, you know, that's coming from a ex-OG as well, a legend. And he's like, I've never jumped an airbag. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So like now if you're getting an airbag yourself and that's what you're practicing to, you're ahead of the game.
Yeah, you're ready to go, right? You can go to any show. It's a lot of people actually. This weekend in Bishop, I had a guy who was going to come out and ride, and dude actually had a pretty gnarly incident up at the riding spot the other day. He was all right, but it was the fucking gnarliest thing I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so day one he rode and everything was sick, and then day two he got a little loose and he's feeling better. And we were talking yesterday, and I actually had to make the call of like, you can probably handle it, but you haven't, you know, like with the way the last day went and then going to an airbag, which you've never rode to before, like, I don't think we should do this yet. It is a difference, right? So just like you were saying, if you already have the airbag and you're riding it in your backyard and you know exactly how they're going to react, you are one step ahead of the game because nobody fucking rides dirt anymore. It's not anywhere. And everybody is nervous their first jump to an airbag, even though they're great. They are great. But everybody's nervous because it's different.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's a cool thing you're doing, dude. I think the community aspect is awesome. Just bringing everyone in and, you know, and if you have a good community and then, you know, you're saying like people selling and stuff like that, like you kind of feel more comfortable. Like there's not some guy on Facebook Market saying like, hey, I'm selling this 110. Yeah. You know, you're like, but like
he's in a seedy basement with like plastic all around.
Yeah, but it's like this.
Why is he selling it for $200?
Yeah, but this community, someone selling something, you could feel more comfortable.
Yeah,
because it's like moto dudes.
Yeah, man, I think the $10 a month is so worth the price of admission if you like it, and like just to have resources available, and you know maybe have the discounts alone.
Yeah,
pay for the membership for years. If you need everything that are in those discounts, that covers your membership fees for years, the money you saved on that. And then, I don't know, if you get a show out of it or you get something, like, I think it's, if you just start following the path, like doors open up. And it's weird, it might not be exactly what you think it is, but like, they open up. And I don't, like, dude, the one kid that rode the other day, like he was talking about how he's always wanted to hit a ramp, and he come out and he rode my spot, and like first day riding a ramp, and he's like, man, I want to make money doing this someday. And I'm stoked because this kid actually lives right down the road from us. And I'm like, cool, we got a local guy. And he's like, you know, he's far away right now from being able to monetize his freestyle motocross career. But then I was like, dude, I actually need a guy this weekend to do one jump for me. Like literally one jump. Come down, drive with me. I'll pay you $500 and ride a show. Like it's not ride a show, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, there's no tricks. This is literally just a straight jump.
Yep.
Yeah, but I need somebody else to do it. And he was so fucking stoked. And it just made me feel like sometimes in life, all we have to do is like make the decision that we're going to go a direction.
Yeah.
And things will start coming together. And
dude, that's almost like what we were saying, like in moto, like, you know, Mitch Payton giving Masterpool a ride
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's just like ripping and battling with Deegan. That's all he needed.
Yeah.
It's just that boost. And this kid, that might be all he needs, that boost of just jumping once and then being like, dude, this was amazing. Like, I really want this now.
Did you see the, I did like a little Zoom interview with that kid named Seth.
Yeah, from New Zealand.
Yeah. So Levi's been working with him for a couple months because he lives down the road from him. I thought that was really cool. I hadn't ever talked to that kid before, so I didn't really know what he was going to say. And then we got on that call, and I was like, so, like, what did you think about it? And he's a racer kid, so I didn't really know. Yeah, it was all right. You know, like, I don't remember the transition of going from racer to freestyler.
Right.
So I asked him, like, and he was like, oh, dude, it was the best feeling I've ever had on a dirt bike. And I was like, no. I was like, if you watch the video, I was like genuinely blown away. Like, what? Like, that's so sick, dude.
Yeah.
And I just think that's really cool. And I want more people to know that, like, that's available, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
it's a possibility.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what we started that on, but, like, I just thought about talking to him and his excitement to do it and how it feels and, like, falling in love with it immediately. That's what it was. You said, like, him getting there and making $500 to do one jump and then go, whoa, this is cool. Like, I've got firsthand experience, like, or firsthand testimony from a dude that did that and felt that and is now hooked.
Yeah. And then it's up to you to put that work in, right?
Exactly.
So you fall in love with it. You're like, dude, I want this as a career. I want this happen every weekend if I can. Okay. Well, now there's a website. There's you, to show you how to do it. So now it's up to you to put in the work and do it. Because if you don't, you're not going to do it.
And I'm like, I feel like I do have a lot of good advice for people as far as how they can make this journey. And people aren't going to like my advice, right? Mm-hmm. Not all of it. Because there's a lot of guys and a couple, you know, I've seen already that my advice is going to be, you need 2 to 3 times on a track a week for maybe the next year or two. Mm-hmm. And you need to, like, you actually need to maybe unsubscribe from us and subscribe to Moto Academy or MX Factory for a year and get some real bike foundation and then come back. Mm-hmm. And, like, I don't think anybody that wants to be a freestyler wants to hear that.
Right.
But unfortunately, like, that's a huge part of it, man, is the bike control. And I think a lot of people maybe mosey around on bikes and they go, oh, I want to freestyle. And they start riding and, like, I can see them first jump and go, you need form.
Yeah. And I think it's also the opposite too. The guys are on the track that are just like scrubbing everything, whipping it, just like killing it. But you're never going to make it as a racer. Sorry to say. You go to subscribe to FMX Legends and you might have a career there.
Dude, me and Keith Sayers were talking about this on the phone yesterday. And just about, like, these racer kids that have so much talent. They do. And, like, they could make it. They have the work ethic, right? They've gotten so fast. They have endurance. They have bike skill. They've, like, watched tutorials. They've learned from people. They have so much of everything. And, like, they're never going to make it. And that's, you know, that's what I was. Like, I was pretty good on a track and, like, I was never going to make it.
Yeah.
And Keith was saying, like, I was the same thing. I was never going to make it, but I was pretty good. Well, here's another opportunity. Yep. And this is, like, a point that I'm trying to figure out how to really drive home on the internet right now to people is, like, if you've got some talent, like, dude, you can make a living doing this, or at least, like, quit your day job, or at least, like, maybe have some extra money from having fun on, like, certain weekends when you want it.
Yeah. That, like, it's basically this. Like, I think there's this dude that's, you know, started doing Supercross, and I kind of watch his videos on YouTube here and there. Not to name any names, but you know, he kind of has excuses here and there, and he's like, well, this is my 3rd Supercross. Go look at Deegan's 3rd Supercross and tell me what he did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not to talk shit, but go look at that. So that's not an excuse. Mm-hmm. There's difference. There's levels. Not saying that you're never going to get better.
Yeah.
But if that's your mentality, like, oh, this is only my 3rd Supercross ever.
Yeah.
Go look at Deegan's 3rd Supercross and let me know where he placed.
Yeah.
There's
I
differences.
haven't watched the YouTube, so I don't know what he's saying it like, because there could be, like, the excitement. Like, I think it's a good way to say it if you're excited and you're like, damn, and it's only my 3rd Supercross.
No, it was like, oh, we didn't do good. It's only my 3rd one, though. I'm just learning still. And it's like, yeah, there's been a lot of guys that was their 1st Supercross and they probably got top 5. You know, you're not making the mains and stuff. So it's like there's levels to it. And if you're maybe not at that level, but you're racing Supercross, so obviously you're good.
Yeah.
You have really good bike skills. Maybe consider it.
Yeah, even if you're not racing Supercross. If you're
Well,
a
yeah.
fast local guy, if
Yeah.
you're like a fast intermediate, even like a mediocre intermediate, and like, dude, I bet you there's some guys who aren't even intermediate who are actually really comfortable in the air.
Dude, go to the junior class out here. Those kids, all those kids are so fast.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. I can't really say like you have to be in a certain class, but
Right.
like you definitely have to have a certain amount of bike skill and form and like comfortability in the air.
I think all I'm saying is like those guys still have the belief and maybe the potential to go pro and maybe do something.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yep.
once you're a pro and you're kind of at this level and then everyone else is up here and you're probably not going to get there because you're already kind of older, you've been pro, maybe reconsider.
Yeah. Maybe jump some ramps, have some fun, make some money.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
I remember back in the day, I don't tell the story to sound egotistical, but I want people to like know that this is a possibility with freestyle motocross. Back in the day when I was doing really well, when it was like, you know, a lot of contests and X Games and all that sort of stuff, I was working with WMG and Jimmy Button was my manager, and Beaker, who was a longtime Fox guy, was there as well. And we were talking. I was down in Carlsbad for something, and we were talking over lunch, and we were talking about these contracts I had just signed at the time. And like, I don't remember what they were. But
huge ones, multi-million.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far. But they were big, you know, and one of their other guys who was a racer was Zach Osborne. And it was, of course, it was before Zach Osborne had like won a title and was really the Zach Osborne that we most recently know. But I remember Beaker being like, man, if guys like Zach Osborne knew like what you guys are making for what you're doing, like, I don't know what they'd think. You know, he was like, they'd either quit and ride freestyle motocross or they'd fucking hate us.
Yeah.
Because those guys worked their fucking asses off. And like, we were making more than them. We were making more than 90% of them, you know, aside from like the top guys, you know. And maybe that money isn't quite around anymore.
Yeah.
I still think at the top there's a lot of money to be made, and I still think in the middle there's a lot of. I think 6 figures are easy, dude. If you do it right, like in freestyle motocross, 6 figures is easy. It's gonna take some time to get there.
Oh, shit.
It's gonna take some time, and it's not just gonna be riding, but like it is 100% attainable. Like, you know, I mean, a lot of the guys are making much more than that. And I'm not talking about Twitch and Axel. Those guys are making bank. I'm talking about like middle of the road guys. They're making more than the entry level 6 figures, you know? So it's like there's a living to be made and a good living to be made. And
doing something fun.
Pretty fun. And it gives you a lot of your own time. And like, yeah, it's dangerous. There's safer ways to make 6 figures a year, but it's fucking possible, man.
Yeah. But if you're already in that danger, you're already doing that dangerous thing. It's not. We're not talking to an accountant to like leave his cubicle and come do this, right? So if you're already doing the dangerous shit, might as well get paid for it. Yeah. But I think Supercross is a lot more dangerous nowadays.
Yeah, man.
You see the Jerry Robbins thing? That was wild, dude. That wasn't like I think he even expressed it on his post.
I didn't see Did you see the crash?
Yeah.
Fuck, I didn't see the crash.
I think
see it.
I think dude, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But
did you ever see Jesse Nelson's crash?
No.
Holy shit.
You told me about that
bro.
one, but I didn't know.
He like fell over.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't a gnarly one.
No. Sorry, keep going though.
Well, you know, he expressed it on his Instagram post talking about it and like kind of how what makes it hurt a little bit more is how stupid of a crash it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like something crazy. So he basically went over the bars.
Yeah.
And he held on too long, so he never put his hands out and he landed on his head, but it wasn't like he was going Mach 40, you know?
Yeah.
He was just kind of, he cased the jump, went over the bars.
You know, that's how Jimmy Button got paralyzed too?
Uh-uh.
Jimmy Button was rolling the whoops.
Oh, really?
At the fucking, one of the Southern California Supercrosses in practice. And he told me he always had a rule that he rolled everything the first lap of everything, his entire career. He never jumped a single thing the first lap. And they had a Dragon's Back. And he came out of the turn, and I can't remember exactly what he did, but I think he like rolled and doubled or something like that. I don't know if he blitzed him. I can't remember exactly that, but he wasn't full speed. He wasn't hauling ass. It was like a brup thing, and he clipped something over the bars, head straight in, paralyzed.
Yeah.
First lap of warm-ups, not moving hardly at all. So, yeah, that's got to be tough.
Do you know his extent of the – because obviously he walks now. Like what his injuries were?
Don't know. Not sure. I think he had kind of like the whiplash paralysis,
Oh, okay.
where it's like the spinal cord just kind of gets like,
A little hurt.
yeah. And I don't know. I'm talking out my ass, but
Yeah.
it's not like he severed it. I don't know
Right.
of anybody that came back from that.
Yeah, I don't think Robbins did, but I do think it's kind of a bad one.
But yeah, if you're already in that line, like
Yeah.
racing is fucking dangerous. I'm always blown away with how many bones those guys break. They're constantly like, oh, I just broke this again. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking geez, man. If I
You know-
had a shit eater every year, like I'd be over it.
Yeah, Austin Forkner might need to retire. But you know what I'm really like more in awe of? How like a Cooper Webb and Chase can go all season ripping like the fastest dudes on the planet,
Yeah.
and they don't crash. That's
Chase
more.
Sexton doesn't crash.
Well, I mean, he
Are you
crashes, but
saying
he
Chase
doesn't
Sexton
get hurt.
crash?
But it's just like it's amazing how like they're that 100% perfect every weekend.
How
almost.
old's Cooper Webb?
I think he's 27, 28.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was older than that.
No.
I do think there's something that happens with a little bit of age where the guys get mature, but I think usually that coincides with slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
And Cooper definitely hasn't slowed down. He's ripping, but he has gotten older and he's been around for a while. So I don't know. Maybe that's part of it.
Yeah.
I think when you're young, you're just like, fucking go, and like it bites you.
They're just so like good on that bike though. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But it makes me think like, what could you do? It's a, interesting conversation. I'm sure like all the moto podcasts have talked about it, but what can you do to make that sport safer? And it's like, put it back to the 2-stroke days, 125 and 250s. Then it's boring maybe.
I don't think it'd be boring.
I don't know. I'm just saying for the
yeah.
casual people, it might be boring. So then, all right, well, let's mellow the tracks out. Then that's super boring.
That would be more boring.
Yeah. Make the tracks a little bit more spread open. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just stuff like that. And it's just like, we're so used to the level that it is now that I think changing anything hurts the sport.
I think you could change the speed of the bikes without hurting the sport because you could make the tracks, I don't know, like, remember on 125s, like when dudes would triple out of a turn, how gnarly and hard it looked, right? Mm-hmm. And it doesn't look like anything's hard for anybody out there anymore.
Well, I had Conway on here, and he said, I was expecting him to say like the whoops and stuff, but he said the hardest part of Supercross for him was tripling out of a corner.
Really?
Because he was always a big kid, and he was on a 250.
Yeah.
250F.
Yeah.
And he said it was fucking hard to clear the triple. But like on 450s now. What if we just did 250 class, right? So we did the Deegan class, and those guys get no mods, like stock bike, just suspension. And then the other guys get like, they can mod the shit out of their 250s.
Yeah. I don't know.
Something like that.
I don't think anything is going to change as far as bikes or tracks or anything. So it's kind of one of those conversations that I feel like it's almost not worth having because it's like we're just speaking of hypothetical things that are never going to happen. Like bikes are going to stay the same. Nobody's ever going to make the bikes slower because they are what there are. Tracks are going to stay the same because Feld knows that if they mellow the tracks out, that it's going to decrease viewership, and that unfortunately, if there's less crashes, if every single weekend the pros go 20 laps without anybody ever taking a spill, people are going to be less interested.
Mm-hmm.
Like people watch fucking NASCAR and they're excited when the big crash happens. And like,
true.
Unfortunately, that's like kind of, I guess, part of it.
For
what people probably watch for, the excitement, the thrill.
Yeah, no, it's true. But I will say what needs to change is someone brought it up and I saw it on Instagram, but Jerry or whoever gets hurt, this is life changing, not, you break your arm, you do something like the Lawrence brothers or whatever. But we're talking about like life changing. It's up to him for medical bills, all that. And the community comes in and, road to recovery and all that kind of stuff. But why isn't Feld helping out?
I know. Well,
I think that needs to change for sure.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I think you're right. Like, hey, you should have health insurance. And if you break your fucking arm, it's on you. Sorry, man. Mm-hmm. But like you said, this is a life-changing injury. And like you would, if Feld was run by a decent person, I'm sure they would do that. But I don't actually have any confidence in that. So Jerry Robbins probably on his own.
Yeah.
I think Road to Recovery does some good stuff. I think they do their best. And, you know, I know when Byton got hurt, like I know Malcolm at Mended donated a bunch of profits to him. And like, I don't know what Byton's financial deal is. I'm not sure, but I really hope that a lot of people stepped up and helped him out. And I hope that it's eased the burden on him.
Yeah, I know. It seemed like a lot of people, the community went big on that one, but it's like we don't know the depth of bills and that change. So like we see it and it could have been a lot, but still it probably didn't make a dent, or maybe it did help a lot. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'll put the link of the Road to Recovery for Jerry Robbins in the description of this video. So if you guys want, donate $1 or whatever it is, you'll be able to read what happened and all that kind of stuff on there. So you guys could donate to that. But it's a tough one, man. It's a crazy sport.
Yeah. 2 wheels, man. Love them and hate them at the same time.
Real quick, are you going to have on your community and everything with the discounts and everything, are you going to bring in like gear people? Because I know you're sponsored by Mended.
I'd like to.
Okay.
I'd like to I'd like to make it so anybody in the community can get a good deal on everything they need to ride. And it's not a big stress to guys like Malcolm that are, you know, making gear. I don't think it's a big stress to them. And like right now, at least, we're not asking from any of these people that are giving discount codes. Like we're just trying to help the community with it and give all these dudes an opportunity to get fully set up just on a little less money, because it's a lot of money.
And I think that would be cool though. Like you go on there and you're like, oh cool, like Mended is a company that's like supporting this cause, like the FMX Legends. So, you know, I want to support them, so I want to buy their gear, but also they're going to give me a discount.
Yeah.
So I think that's like an amazing thing. So if you actually had that kind of stuff on there.
Yeah, it's definitely in the plans. Also a strength and conditioning guy. I have a buddy in Australia who does like an online training thing. We've actually had a bunch of people already asking about like what kind of conditioning do we do for freestyle motocross? And I want to get him on board, and I want to bring him on. Maybe he can give our members a discount. Maybe he can be active in the community to help people out. Like, because I think that's great. There's only so much advice I can give on that, which is like fucking, I don't know, go to the gym.
Hey, I will say though, back in the day, these guys ran on Coors Light and partying, and they made it. So if you guys are on the couch right now, I think you guys still have a chance.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I don't got no street cred if I try to tell people to go easy on the partying and be serious and professional.
Yeah.
Damn.
Sorry to call you out, but I mean, that's just how it is.
We did run on Coors Light for a lot of years. Made a lot of mistakes. Fucking embarrassed the shit out of myself numerous times.
And you still made it.
Don't be me.
Yeah. It happens. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for coming on and letting us know what's going on with everything you got going on.
Hell yeah. FMXlegends.com. Subscribe to our emails if you want. Follow us on Instagram. You know, subscribe to the website if you're into freestyle motocross. But I'm really excited about this, man. This feels like where my life's headed going forward.
Yeah. I'm excited to see the growth of it. I might jump in there, be the only photographer allowed on the website.
There you go. You got a free community access if you want it, buddy.
Cool. Perfect. All right. I'll see you guys next week. Maybe I bring in 2 babes and get wild with them. So tune in.